We're going to talk about the landmine press and specifically why it's a great pressing variation for people with cranky shoulders. It's great to have a landmine attachment, but if not, you can just stick a bar right in the corner between a wall and a floor, and it works the exact same way. So here we're going to start Aaron in a half kneeling position, but you can also progress this going into a split stance position. That's going to require a little bit more stability and challenge of stability, but I think it's a great option to start in the half kneeling position. So from there, grabbing with one hand at the end of the bar, we're going to press and reach through the bar. So notice Aaron's body actually leans into it as he presses up. You want to think about staying underneath the bar. So we want a straight line all the way from the hand down through the knee, keeping the ribs down, core braced. The reason this is a great option for people with cranky shoulders is it allows us to get into that overhead position without challenging so much of that core stability and allowing a little bit more quality or natural scapular movement. So it's going to take less stress on the shoulders while still giving us the great benefits of that overhead pressing movement. So again, our landmine variations are a little bit more shoulder friendly, especially for people who get nagging shoulders when they go up overhead, something like a barbell or a dumbbell overhead press. And one way to check kind of if you're qualified or if you have the mobility to get into those overhead positions is just if you stand to the side, keep those core or keep the ribs down, core nice and braced. If you can't get to where your hands are completely in a straight line down without having to compensate through the low back, this might be a better option for you, just so you're not actually compensating when you're in that pressing movement, because we know if we have axial load going straight down and we're arching all while kind of getting up overhead, that's going to be a lot of kind of poor things for our low back. So this is a better option. And the reason why it's a better option is it doesn't require so much overhead mobility. So I'll have Aaron get down into that half kneeling position. And from here, we can kind of recognize that as Aaron presses out, he's not actually getting directly overhead, and he can kind of control this with how much he leans forward. So if you're someone who doesn't get as much range of motion up overhead, you might want to stay a little bit taller so you're actually reaching out slightly in front of you while getting kind of as much as you can overhead. And also, because it is a single arm variation, it's going to allow for more movement in that T-spine, which will help allow us to get into a little bit more upward rotation in that scapula that will keep the head of the humerus a little bit better position within the glenoid fossa, which will, in fact, take care of the shoulder joint in general. So there's two main common mistakes I see when people are doing the half kneeling or any variation of the landmine press. One is reaching their body too far past the bar. So you'll notice here, Aaron is kind of over exaggerating that movement of getting under the bar or leaning forward. And this is not going to be great for the shoulder, especially someone who doesn't get into really great overhead positions. So we want to make sure when we're in that top position, again, we're in a straight line and we're not poking the head forward at the top. The second big mistake is kind of the opposite of that, and it's not leaning into the bar at all. Right? So Aaron is just staying nice and upright, pressing that bar away. Again, we're doing this movement, one, for the strength aspect of it, but two, it can actually help to improve our overhead positioning. So you giving a little bit of lean and reaching through that bar will help to get more upward rotation and actually can improve your mobility in those overhead positions going forward. Landmine presses can be a great option for your main strength movement or as your accessory pushes. Here you can do 3 to 4 sets, anywhere from 6 to 12 reps. And remember, you can add weight to that bar as well.